What's up everybody, this is Lyle with No Hippie Barbecue. What I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be making some beef jerky. What I'm going to be cooking it in is going to be my Masterbuilt Electric Smoker. I think that smoker will be perfect for something like this. As far as the meat goes we're going to be using for this jerky, I went out and bought some thinly sliced meat. I could have went and just bought a regular like a sirloin tip roast or a top round and sliced it myself, but I figured most people that are watching this video don't have a meat slicer, so I'm trying to use what I think most people would use. So go out and try to find the leanest meat that you can find that's already pre-sliced, or have your butcher slice it if you roll like that. Anyway, as far as the marinade goes, the marinade, listen, I'm going to put the ingredients in the description and the amounts I'm using, but on these marinades there's no reason to really get caught up in, you know, what the amounts are or anything like that. Really, this is just something that you can actually wing together. So anyway, I'm going to get this marinade hooked up. The first ingredient I'm using is I have a teriyaki sauce that I bought at my Asian market, and it is a pretty hot teriyaki sauce as far as spice goes. I have some brown sugar. I have some onion powder and garlic powder. I'm just going to kind of stir this in. Red pepper flakes. If any of you guys know me, you know I'm a pepperhead. I might have just minced up some habanero peppers, threw those in there, but I'm trying to use things that most people have around their house. So I'm using some crushed red pepper flakes. And I'm going pretty liberal on that. And I have some fresh minced ginger we're going to throw in as well. Now basically we're just going to stir this up. If it's looking too thick, which this isn't really looking too thick, but if it is looking too thick, add something to it, water, orange juice, whatever you want, just to kind of thin it out. That's mixed in. I'm going to set this aside. We're going to go ahead and add our sliced meat into a Ziploc bag just so it can marinate. This is going to have a chance to marinate overnight, probably between 18 and 24 hours. Now I'm going to leave mine whole, so they are fairly larger pieces, but I'm going to leave them whole like that, and the reason is I think it allows it to cook a little bit more evenly. I don't need to worry about it falling through the grates, and it's just easier to cut them after the fact than it is before. Now this is about 2 pounds of meat that I have here, so when you look in the description for the ingredients I use for the marinade, that is how much we are rolling with as far as the meat goes. Now those pepper flakes look to be a pretty good amount of that in there. So what I'm going to do is zip this up, get most of the air out of it, kind of massage it in a little bit, throw it in the refrigerator. I'll see you back tomorrow about 3 o'clock. We've let this sliced beef marinate for about 21 hours. But before I go on with this video, I'd like to thank Elton at Elton's Barbecue Pit for sending me this shirt about a year ago. Sorry I haven't been wearing it that much, but moving, I've had a lot of stuff here and there. So anyway, if anybody out there is looking for some barbecue from another area of the world, Elton's out there in Norway. I'm going to put a link to his channel in the iCard above and the description below. Run by there and take a look at it. As a matter of fact, kind of along these lines, he did a real nice smoked salmon in the Weber Smoky Mountain. Gotta take a look at that. Anyway, what I'm gonna do now is we got our beef here, and it's been kind of marinating. So I'm just gonna lay this down, and this is on a broiler pan. Anything that's gonna allow that extra liquid to kind of run off of it is gonna work. I'm not too worried about it laying flat right now, because we are gonna pat this down with a paper towel, and I'm not going to be cooking on that. What I'm going to do is we're going to be laying it on this these wire racks on top of the racks that we have in our Masterbuilt. Now, the reason I'm using this Masterbuilt, there's a lot of different things you could cook with on this. You could throw it in the oven, you could put it on smokers, but the Masterbuilt, the one thing that it is good at is it is good at low temperature smoking. So we're going to put this on the Masterbuilt at about 130 degrees. So we're going to be going real low on this. So this is going to have a chance to kind of just drain off naturally for about the next, I'm going to say 30 minutes before we start patting it down. In about 15 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and get this Masterbuilt fired up. The wood I'm going to be using in that is going to be a pecan wood. I'm looking for something that's real kind of subtle. I was thinking about going with apple. Apple would have been a good choice as well. Anyway, we're going to let this drain off. When I come back, we're going to pat it dry. Then we're going to be out on that smoker. I took a look at these once they were on the sheet pan. It looked like they drained off fine to me. I was going to pat them down with the paper towel, but I don't want to take off any of those pepper flakes that are on it. So what I've done was I have them laid out flat on a couple of these racks. The Masterbuilt is getting started right now, so about 15-20 minutes we're going to get these on. Like I said, we're going low on this, 125, 130 degrees, somewhere in that neighborhood. Anyway, but these should be dry enough for the temperature that we're going at. As I started this smoke off at about 165 degrees, and I just did that just to get the wood chips going. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to add our beef jerky in here. And I'm just setting them on the same racks that I had them on in the kitchen, on top of the racks in the Masterbuilt. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to shut it, and I'm going to turn this down to 100 and, let's see, you can't see it. Let's go set temp. We're going to go ahead and turn this down to 125 degrees. Set the temp. Boom, there we go. So what I want to do is cook these until they are, I don't want to cook them until they're like real brittle. I want them to have a little bit of a bite to them. So I'm not sure how long that's going to take using this. I've never used the Masterbuilt for this, but I think this is the perfect smoker for something like this. Anyway, I'll let you know how long it takes. So we are about an hour in on this, and it looks like it's about to rain. And one thing I don't want is the rain to come through that vent and drip down on the meat. So what I've done was I put a container on the top covering up the vent, and then I left a little bit of air so the smoke or whatever can go ahead and vent out of that. And I put a brick on top so if it gets windy it won't, actually, you know what? Let's do it like this. Boom. So put a brick on top of it so it won't blow off if we get a little bit of wind. Anyway, let's see how we're looking in here. Looks like our jerky is coming along just fine. Like I said, I did not completely dry it off, so it may take some time for us to go ahead and get this where we need it to be, since we are cooking at such a low temperature. A bit of rain here a while back, and I think that humidity kind of slowed this down a little bit, but we're about 5.5 hours in on this, and it looks like we are almost completely where I want. There's a few areas that need to get dried out a little bit more, so I'm gonna let this go probably about another 45 minutes, an hour, and then we're just gonna take it in. It should be done by then. Here is what our final product looks like. You know what? Let's go ahead and take a taste. Let's go ahead and break off a piece of this jerky and get to eating. I'm almost about to take another bite, but I know how people are about my chewing. Anyway, great teriyaki flavor. The peppers that were on top, you know, those add a little bit of spice. I think the next time I do this, I'm going to go ahead and throw in like a habanero hot sauce or something like that, or some habanero extract just to kind of pump it up a little bit. But this is a winner. If you have a Masterbuilt, I think this is probably the best smoker to cook something like this on, because you can get that temperature down low. But you know what? You could also do this in the oven as well. Most ovens are going to be around that 170 degree minimum mark, but if you keep an eye on it, you can go ahead and rock it in that. Hey, Elton, from Elton's Barbecue Pit in Norway. Again, thanks a lot for this shirt. If you guys aren't subscribed to Elton at Elton's Barbecue Pit, I'm going to put a link to his channel in the iCard above and the description below. Run by there and show some Norwegian love. Anyway, thanks for stopping by No Hippie Barbecue. I appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.